Welcome to No Expense Spent, where good enough is good enough. Maestro video this week. If you're new to the channel, I do videos usually every Tuesday at 3 PM. This week's a car video week. Next week will be a craft video. That can be just about anything from sewing to painting to restoration to woodwork, whatever I've got that needs doing. Occasionally there's some crossover. If you've seen things like the car blankets video from a while ago, you'll know what I mean. I do a little bit of everything. I've got a lot of different hobbies and interests, and I like to share the information with other people and learn as well. There's been some really good comments left on videos and people getting in touch outside of YouTube, helping me out with projects and learning how to improve things a little bit better. So if you're one of the people who's left one of those supportive comments, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Speaking of, before we get into the video, I know this is a YouTube spiel, I don't do these very often. Please do leave likes and comments and definitely subscribe. It helps the channel get seen by more people. It also motivates me to keep making the content. I do enjoy making the videos, I do enjoy sharing the videos and the projects with you all, but without the feedback it can feel as though you're a little bit isolated. So if you just hit the like button, it's enough. It lets me know that you've enjoyed the content. Right, let's get into the video, and you can see from a few months ago how we deal with replacing a wing on a Maestro. It's not too difficult. First set of bolts, easy to get to, just the ones along top. There's 5 of these, and they're 10mm. So once you've got these top ones out, that's nice and easy. This wing also sprang out, which it shouldn't really do, which says that something on here is the wrong shape. You have another one hidden just there, and another one just there. It's a 10mm again. There you go, that's that one. That's probably the most awkward one on the car. This one, which goes into the sill, a little bit tricky to record because of where it is. I'm expecting this one to not play nice. Well, that's a surprise. That came out really easily. A few more. Next ones are in here. There's one around about here. And there's one, you can just see my hand behind there, about here. I can't really show you where those are because yeah, there's nowhere for me to put the camera in, so I'll take these off and then I'll show you where those are when the wing comes off. This is all going suspiciously easily. I don't like it when jobs go easily and something's going to go wrong. For the indicator, you have got a plug on the end of this wire which goes into the unit, and a spring there that just holds it
against the wing. So we'll unplug those two things. You can see where there's been a repair here as well, so I'll see that better when the wing comes off and we'll know what we're dealing with. These really are incredibly easy to remove. You just pull on the little hook there to unhook the spring, the bulb holder just twists out and then it just comes straight off. So in theory, the only other thing left to disconnect here is the side repeater, and I should be able to get to that once the wing comes off. It's already loose. So all being well, this just slides off. The bumper section here is just slotted on here, there's no fixings. Well, there shouldn't be any fixings. A bit awkward. There we go. I missed one somewhere. Oh, there's an extra bolt. I have missed it. Let's go in from underneath for that one. There we go. Let's untwist the side repeater, and that's the wing off. So what fell off? A random little piece of metal. And as you can see back here, there has been a bump on this corner. What I wasn't sure of before is where that bump was, and the damage all seems to be up high here, which is good because that should mean it's above the chassis line and anything important. And honestly, the damage I've been seeing on the car has been fairly superficial. There's a little bit of rust in there, you'd expect, but somebody's been in and done some repair work in here in the past, which is not surprising given the mileage on the car. Now, there's nothing that scares me there. This is a bit of a strange repair. It's functional, but it's a bit of a strange one. I'm not sure why it's done like that, but it works, so if it ain't broke. But realistically, these two pieces here should join up, and it looks like rather than beating them back into the correct shape, they've screwed on this patch, and they've also welded it. So it's not pretty, but it's a fairly strong repair. A little bit more panel beating here, you just see that a little bit nicer. And then you can see down here, these are your bolts for the wing where it joins the valance. So you have 3 bolts on there. I thought there was just 2. I hadn't seen the third till I tried to take it off. And then that's your bulb for your indicator, which just twists out, nice and easy. And then this is the one for the side repeater, same thing, just twists out nice and easy. What's a bit annoying about this one is usually to change this bulb you have to take the arch liner out, which is a pain. But I don't see any serious damage in here. Everything that needs to be straight looks straight. Looks like it must have been a minor bump just on this corner. The wing itself isn't in terrible condition. Oh, that explains something. This is being cut apart and welded back together again. I'd like to say I've never seen that before, but I have. That explains a lot, because this front corner has all sorts of weird things going on with the paint. And there's like evidence of filler and things in there, so yeah, that explains a lot. The replacement wing doesn't have any of this damage on it at all, and it's in slightly better condition. So that should drop on a treat. Here's the replacement wing. It's in pretty good shape. The only thing that's not attached is the bumper corner. I've got some spare bumper corners. I just need to do a bit of jiggery pokery with the fixings. Paint's not perfect on it, but it's good enough. And I suspect this is flame red rather than Targa red. It's very, very close. So it's not going to bother me for now. I'm going to offer this one up on the car and see how it fits before we put any bolts in, see if it's any better. Even before I put the bolts in, I can already see this looks better. This angle here isn't squashed in so much, so it's not lifting above the line. I mean, I know the bonnet's not shut properly here, but it's not lifting as badly as it was. Doesn't sit quite right at the front, but that's because this middle bracket here just needs bending in a little bit. It's very thin metal, so it's very easy to deform. Other than that, this wing actually looks like it's a pretty good fit. There is an improvement up here. On the other wing, this is all a funny shape. And you can, well, it doesn't always show on camera. This colour's weird. You can just tell there. This is a slightly brighter red than this. This is Targa, and this, I suspect, is Flame. Except for the fact there's two different Targa reds, and there's two different Flame reds. Exactly the same name, different paint code. And I don't know why they changed it, but they did. So I will get this put back on. Yes, the trim line doesn't match either. It doesn't matter, it's just vinyl. So hopefully it's just a very quick job of rebolting this back on. I mean, I knew these were easy, I just didn't think they were this easy. When you put the wing on, you want to do the little tab here that goes up at the top into the gap first, because that's the one that's tricky to line up. Passable. It's not brilliant. It's a little bit deformed on this corner, but that's easy to fix. It's fairly even all the way along, so I'm going to pull the rest of it in and then I can adjust this afterwards if I need to. You are having to work a little bit blind as you do this. There's not really enough space for hands and heads and tools and everything. A bit fiddly. Oh, this one's awkward. Helps when the arch liner isn't pushing everything out. unnecessary evil. All kinds of the wrong shape at the front. Oh well. That's less than ideal. Overall, not too bad. No attempt at adjusting the panel gaps or anything, that's literally just thrown on. And the fit up here is actually better than the other one was. The fit down here, not quite as good. I think this valance is just pushed out this way a little bit, so I think if I push that back and massage it a bit properly, I can close that gap up there, no problem. Same with the bit under the headlight, that's slightly deformed. Not massively, just a bit. So it just needs a bit of attention to the edge. Door to wing cap is about as good as they ever get, really. They're never great on these cars. But the problem is, what I hadn't noticed, underneath here, the tab's broken off. So I can't fix it to the wing at the moment. So I'll salvage that off the other wing, since the other wing has that piece, and I'll weld that on. But it doesn't catch on the door, it's all nice and secure, so I'm not too concerned about that. Right, I'll pop the indicator back in. It's a better fit with the bonnet as well, it's not as squashed up as it was with the other wing, so I'm happier on that. But yeah, there you go, you can see the colour mismatch. It doesn't always show up, they're so close. Not a problem on this car, not really. Refitting the indicator is really easy. Done. It's ridiculously easy to put those on. The bonnet gap looks alright, it's nice and even enough. I mean, this side, if anything, is worse. But that's just how these cars are. Now I've actually got the wings set aside, you can see somebody put a lot of effort into this. A lot of effort. And I knew about all of this hammered finish that it has, I'll be kind. But what I hadn't realised is that they basically cut the wing apart where there were problems and stitched it back together again. They've also done things like these slots are the guides for the indicator. If you look on this one, which hasn't been messed about with, they're supposed to look like that, so they've gone to the trouble, even, of making extra slots. On the inside you can see where the original lip is here that they've saved, at least I think it's the original lip. And all around here where they've tried to panel beat it back to something like, which, you know, to be fair, they've not done a bad job. And then there's a new piece let in up here. There's a big piece let in here. All of this front corner of the wing, I didn't know all of this was rebuilt. I knew there was something funny going on with the paint. That's... yeah, I'm pretty impressed by whoever's dedication it was to get that back to something like, rather than just buying a new wing for it. But you can see, unlike the replacement, there's rust coming in on this one. Which, you know, I could have addressed all that, I could have even fixed all of this, but I had a better wing, so just easier to swap over. And the bit I'll need to salvage off this one is just the tab off the bottom here. this rust looks worse than it really is. At least I hope it does. It feels very surfacey rather than crunchy, but I only need this very little tab here. The other thing that this wing's going to be used for is repairing the rear arch on the car on the opposite side, because all the section that I need on this is actually in really good shape. So I'll be able to chop that out and replace it. Unless, of course, a proper repair panel turns up in the meantime, which it might.
Few surprises found there. I do think this car's had a little bit of a knock on this front corner. I don't think it's anything serious. All the damage is localised quite high up, about the level of the headlight. And clearly the impact wasn't hard enough to break the glass on the headlight. And it was minor enough that that wing could be rebuilt and indeed hammered back into shape. The new panels I've put on all fit about as well as Maestro panels ever do. So I don't think anything's wildly deformed or unsafe on the car. Which is good, because the last thing I want to be doing is replacing and repairing bits of serious crash damage. Will I go back and repair that front wing corner? Maybe. The trouble with that job is I don't really have any good reference points now, because it's been crunched when it's been hit and then it's been bashed out into the wrong shape. So ideally I need a section of Maestro that's that corner that I could graft in and just replace something with the correct shape. As it stands, it holds everything together where it needs to be, nothing's loose or wobbly, and honestly the metal on the Maestro is so thin, there's not really an NCAP rating for a car like this, so I don't think it's going to be making anything better or worse leaving it as it is. Thank you for making it through to the outro. I very rarely do these. I just had to put one in on here because the original intro and end footage I had recorded, it was just rubbish. I couldn't use it, so I've had to improvise with this. Next week is going to be a craft video. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be yet. Craft videos do tend to be recorded much closer to release date. The car stuff, I record them in advance so I can build a whole story, if you like, and complete a job, because sometimes you start a job with a car with the best of intentions and then you're waiting on a part, or something goes wrong, or you just encounter a problem you don't know how to fix. So rather than leaving you with cliffhangers, I like to complete the thing, go through it as much as I can, and then release as one video. If you've made it this far, please take a moment to check the description box below. There's usually, on all the videos, a little bit of a description. Sometimes there's information on what products I've used, occasionally what tools I've used, and there's a link to my print shop. I'm a full-time artist. Most of my work is commission-based. Some of it makes it out into my print shop, and if you like car artwork and cartoony stuff, and I think there's a helicopter in there, go and check it out. There's all kinds of things in there, and I'm working on some new things, but I'm having issues with copyright strikes, which is getting a little bit frustrating. That's something for another video, I think. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I will hopefully see you all next time, and have a good one wherever you are. Bye for now.